It is exactly 30 minutes past 3 p.m. right here on A-Farmers Media. Remember, we are always about one thing, and this is a Farm Drive show with me, Conrad Kibe. We are always about one thing, just telling the story of an African farmer in the best way possible. And as always, the three key things that is connect, learn, and grow. And so today we'll be having a very, very interesting conversation about a question that you should be asking yourself as a farmer, as a new farmer, or any expert around the country or around the globe. Is your farm a business or not? So details of that and much more will be coming your way. But remember, we'll be having a fantastic finish at the tail end of this show. And definitely, Watu wa Mombasa Road, we shall be giving you the traffic updates as it is by the time we are getting through the show. And definitely, as always, we'll start with the COVID updates as of today, 30th of August 2021. And the new cases that have been reported by MOH are standing at 346 out of a sample size of 3,553 tested as of the last 24 hours. And the positive rate is 9.7%. And remember, WHO has located at 5.5%. That is the normal rate that we are supposed to be having. So we are not doing well as a country when we come to having the positive cases around the country. And so the recoveries that we've been having since the last 24 hours are 1,404 cases. And for the fatalities, we've lost just 10 lives. They're not just, these are family, these are people that we know, probably these are farmers you have around the places that you are in right now. So remember that you need to sanitize, wear your mask properly, and especially, most importantly, you need to get vaccinated and maintain your social distance. So when it comes to the cumulative numbers as of March last year, the numbers that have been tested since March last year are standing at 2.36 million people have been tested since March last year. And the total positive cases that have been reported from 1.5 years ago, that is 235,298 positive cases. And for the total recoveries that have been announced since over the last 1.5 years are at 222,357 cases. And for the fatalities are at 4,720 lives that we have lost over 1.5 years ago. So make sure you sanitize, wear your mask properly, not just wearing below the chin or above the chin or just carrying on your hands. Make sure you wear just mahali hapo karibu na pua. Make sure you maintain your social distance and sanitize, whether it's using a sanitizer, water and soap, clean water that is. And the new preaching that has been, or the new gospel that has been going round is make sure you get vaccinated. Remember, this vaccine is making sure that you are not spreading the virus at a percentage of, the good thing is it's preventing the virus being spread with a percentage of 95%. So it's as good as that. So make sure you get your vaccine around the country in any health dispensary or institution that is around near you, especially the government hospitals. Just make sure that you've gotten your vaccine, especially you as a farmer, because you'll be interacting with so many people. And definitely, if you're a civil servant, you know what the government said. And so to the business of today, we are asking ourselves, is our farm a business or not? And this is a very, very important question you need to ask yourself before you start the basics or just starting farming in general. And this is a transition that most farmers, or you as a farmer, you think about before you get into it, before you dive into it. But the main question you should be asking yourself, am I using the right path or am I in the wrong path? And especially as a new farmer, because most of us, or new farmers, you'll get their intentions to get into farming is kind of not very, very good or very, very nice. You get into farming because of peer pressure, because you saw your friends doing the same, or you saw has a lot of profit, or you just saw the numbers in terms of money. But the main question, before you get to all that, that is the post, or getting the money and the effects, or the profits and getting the market, or what have you. Or because you're doing it out of passion, you need to ask yourself the very, very important question. are you in the right path when it comes to farming or your farm being a business? So today we'll be having kind of a quiz that will help us or help you as a farmer, whether an experienced farmer, a new farmer. Probably you're an experienced farmer, you've been doing it the wrong way, you've been in the wrong path. We'll be discovering that, and the total marks will be out of 65. So you'll range yourself, you'll find out if you're in the right path or if you're definitely on the wrong path. And so the first question you need to ask ourselves, is your soil tested? Or rather, because you're talking to yourself, or you're doing yourself a favor by doing this quiz, is my soil tested? And so if it's a no, that for you, that's where you all began wrong. If your soil is not tested, this is where, that's a fundamental stage as a farmer. Make sure that your soil is tested. So if you have ticked yes, and I believe you're doing the same, this quiz with me, if you've tested, if you've ticked yes, then you started on the right path. But if your answer is no, then there's no need of negotiations. You need to do it as soon as possible. You need to do it as soon as possible. Make sure your soil is tested. And if you're out there, you're a new farmer, you're asking yourself, how can I get my soil tested? Don't worry. We are here at Our Farmers. We can help you do that. So I'll be giving you a number that you'll be calling, or you can call, or you can talk to us on our social media platforms. That is Farmers with a Z at the end. Just slide into our DMs, and someone will be there to assist you on how you can do it, because we have the facilities to help you do it in the right way. But make sure don't go to the second step, or don't get yourself or involve yourself in farming before you test your soil. Don't say because you're in the same region with my friends, in the same area with my friends, the soil is the same. No, because kwetu kunanyesha, kwa kunanyesha, so it's the same thing. That is not how we do it. So make sure you test your soil. And if you don't know how to, we are here to help you, because we are here to connect, learn, and grow. And so definitely connect with us. You learn how to test your soil. And as always, the end result is that you will grow in terms of profit as a whole, as a farmer. All right? So that's the first question you need to be asking yourself. And definitely, I know you have answered either a yes or a no. If it's a yes, endelea na mtindo huo. If it's a no, you know what to do. Right? So we'll be giving you a number, and the number is 0712 723830. I repeat, 0712 723830. The number will be running on your screen. And if you're not able to reach us on that number, you can slide in our DMs on our social media platform at Farmers Media. Get to us. Ask us all those questions. We'll be willing to help you in all ways so that you can get your soil tested. All right? So the second question you should be asking yourself as a farmer, is my bed raised, or are my beds raised? Definitely it's a yes or a no question. And so if it's a yes, that's another 5 additional points for you, meaning you are on the right path of getting to know whether your farm is a business or not. All right? Remember, this quiz is about to get to know whether your farm is a business or not, if you're on the right path. For example, if you're doing wholesale, you're there to just get products to sell to the market, and to get, you have your clients ready and everything ready. You have your business plan. Make sure when you have all that, at the end of the day, you must be on the right path. Whether you like it or not, as a farmer, you can't be having everything. The farm is ready. You have the labor. You have all that you have all that in place, but you don't actually understand whether your soil is tested or whether your beds are raised. And if it's a no, you've answered a no. You've looked, you've given a glance at your farm, or probably a thought. If you're in the office, you've given it a thought, and you've just looked at your farm and you've realized your beds are not raised. These are the reasons why your beds are supposed to be raised. One, it increases the soil temperature. When you raise your beds, the soil temperature will increase. The second one, if you have a problem with drainage, pengine unakuwa tuna shida ya kuclog, maji ina clog, ina overflow kwenye shamba lako, that one, definitely you have a solution to it. Raise your beds, because this will improve the drainage. 2 or 3 rather, you have an easy access to your farm. Pengine unashindangwa ni wapi utapitia ili kupenya kwenye shamba lako. Worry no more, because now when you raise your beds, there will be an easier way to access your farm. So those are the three main, they're not the only reasons why you should raise your beds, but they're the main reasons why you should raise your beds. So if you have not done the same, also just slide into our DMs. If you need any assistance, just call that number that is running on your screen. We'll be able to assist you in the best way we can. The third one, this one mostly goes to the telephone managers. You know, those people are always calling, asking, shamba inaendeleaje, maneno ikoaje nyumbani. That is, you need to understand, or you need to know, do your workers have basic knowledge of what is required of them? Especially if you're not a manager who is always present, you're always calling from a different part of the country or even outside the country, and you have people who are managing your farm, you need to understand, do they have the basic knowledge required of them? And this, we are talking about proper care of the crops. We're also talking about proper planting, spotting diseases and pests. Don't just bring any worker to your farm, and especially if you're a telephone farmer or a manager, you just call to ask how the farming is ongoing, if the crops are being taken care of, if they have cited any diseases and pests in their plants. You need to bring someone who has basic, at least, that's bare minimum, basic knowledge of what is required of them. You need to bring someone who is sharp, someone who can actually take care of the crops. You don't really need to go to school to get all this knowledge. You can acquire through apprenticeship. You can be there teaching them on how to actually spot the diseases and pests and actually take care of the crops, whether it's planting, when to harvest, when to water. All these things are just the basics. So if you have done that, kudos to yourself. You have an additional 5 points. And by the way, you're actually doing a good job. Whether you're a telephone manager or you're a present manager, you're actually doing a good job ensuring that your workers have the basic knowledge of the activities going around the farm and general management. That could be very, very important and can save you so much, especially if you're a telephone manager, you're always calling around. And this includes teaching or training them while they're at work. You're talking about apprenticeship, that is one. You're also pairing them with the manager or other workers who have more experience in the field. Probably you're there, you're also a first-time manager. You don't know how to do these things. You also need training of basic knowledge. All right? You're also a manager who have, actually this is your first time, especially for the new farmers. You're a new farmer, so goes without saying, you're a new manager. You need some basic knowledge. Also, you as a new manager, as a new farmer or manager, you need some basic knowledge on how to take care of your farm, whether it's planting, watering, spotting diseases and pests, and so have you. So, if it comes to training, we've talked about an experienced worker. You can bring in an experienced worker who can help you or help the workers around you to make sure that everything is going in place. And so, as here at AFarmers, we also have training that is ongoing. We'll be giving you details of that and much more. So, if you want a snippet of what we'll be doing with the training institute that is coming up, make sure you just follow this page, like the page on our Facebook, that is AFarmers with a Z at the end. Make sure you're liking, and we'll be giving you details of what will be happening with the training institute that is coming up in a few days or a few weeks. It's ongoing, but if you want the basic knowledge, whether for you as a farmer or whether for your workers, it's very, very good that you connect with us, enroll that, and we shall be helping you at least, talking about the bare minimum, get that training. Because if you are not a present manager, you are an away manager, that is, you always call or always visit once in a while, you're not always around there, you need someone with at least basic knowledge of how to protect or to take care of your crops, especially if your farm is a business. You need to know how to go about things. All right? You can train yourself, you can train the workers, or you can train one of them. or several of them. If you have a large number of workers, you can train some of them. They'll pass the knowledge through apprenticeship. They'll learn from the rest. So you can train a few of them, right, on how to take care of the crops. Right? So that is something that we have been looking at as farmers, and that is ongoing, and we shall be giving you the details of how you can enroll on that, so that at the end of it, remember, we're always about three things. It's connect, learn, and grow. So at the end, you need to connect. That is just contacting us. Then you learn by the small or basic knowledge or the training, the skills that you'll be getting from the training institute. And at the end, because you're looking at your farm being a business, you'll be able to grow in terms of profits, in terms of you as a farmer. You'll transition from being a new farmer to an experienced farmer, and at the end, you will be a successful farmer. So that's the third question that you should be asking yourself. Either you're a new farmer, experienced farmer, you've been doing things wrong, you've been wondering, where am I going wrong? You probably have your maths right, you have everything right, you have your workers a very good, you've been timing the weather in a very, very good way, but you've been wondering, where am I going wrong? Now you have the answers. So first of all, you've talked about testing your soil. Make sure you've tested your soil. Secondly, we have made sure that your beds are raised. This is to increase. There is making sure that it's isn't in your way when you're getting to your farm. So increasing soil temperature, and above all, you're making sure that the drainage, especially if you have a problem with drainage, that one will improve, especially when you raise your beds. All right? So before we take a short break, we'll be talking about the fourth question, or the fourth point on what you should be looking up to. That is, am I fully dependent on the rain for planting and other uses? That's a question you should be asking yourself. If you come from the mountain, from the Abadia region, or anywhere they get, they depend on the rain, are you doing so? Or you have an irrigation system in place? If you're always dependent, fully dependent, 100% dependent on the rain for planting or other uses, or you're that kind of a farmer that you have an irrigation system in place in case you don't receive the rain, so what kind of a farmer are you? So to access to adequate water is very, very important, very crucial at this stage. And having an irrigation system in place where will actually ensure that the processes like fertilization or fertilizing, and spraying goes on. All right. So making sure that you have learned what is working for you. Okay. Farmers, fanani. So if you come from from, as I've said, place where you receive adequate rainfall, you depend on it fully, it's okay. But don't gamble, all right? If you come from an area where you don't receive the rainfall as much as other places, don't gamble depending on the rain. Have an irrigation system in place. It's very important. It's like a backup. Even if you're fully dependent on the rain, just have a backup in place, because it's very important to have that backup. At times we see the weather not going as planned. When we're expecting the long rains, in comes the short rains. When you're expecting the short rains, in comes kiangazi. All right. So at times, depending on that, depending on the rain, is very, very can be very hectical for you, especially as a new farmer who is not experienced. You definitely have the calendar of the short rains when we're going to be receiving the long rains, when it will be a bit sunny. You have all that in place. But remember, this is nature. You can't really wholly depend on it. So you need to have the backup. And the backup we're talking about irrigation systems in place. So that needs to be done. All right? So Watu, Mount Kenya, going to the other sides where they receive a lot of rainfall, Kericho, and all of you, you need to have some backup. When the rain is not around, you need to have that irrigation system in place. And if you come in a place, if you're coming from a place like this one, around this region, that is Kajiado and Machakos, you know what to do. You cannot depend on the rain fully. That one is a lie. You need to have the irrigation in place. So when we come back, we'll be talking about, are your seeds certified? Ama unanunua tu huku nje? Because remember, we're talking about the quality and not the quantity. So when we come into, we'll be tackling the certified seeds. We'll be talking about one thing that actually fails people, right? Will fail you as a farmer. And one key thing you need to understand is that cheap is expensive. Don't just go for the cost or the quantity, because you're being given a big quantity on a small amount. And the deal is too good, you have to think twice. So go for the quality. And when you go for the quality, you'll understand why I'm talking about cheap is expensive. All that when you come back after this short break.
Farmers is the home of Africa Farmers Club, and by extension, African farmers. The whole idea behind Farmers is to transform the image of an African farmer from a producer into an agripreneur, somebody who actually does not think about how to produce onions, but how much is going to be used to produce onions, and so that way then they can be able to transform their vision, they can be able to look at their farms as businesses, and they can be able to know when to engage with the market. What we have done is that we have developed a hub where farmers bring their information, bring their questions, their challenges, and other farmers are there to come out and help. Facebook has not just been instrumental, Facebook has been a working partner for myself as well. And Facebook has actually transformed the way we relate, an open platform. My background is in tech, and I know you cannot build a platform that can reach out to so many people. Initially, it was just a few farmers in 2 counties, Machakos County and Kajiado counties, but now it has transformed. We have a stronger membership from Nigeria and Zambia than even Kenya itself, you know. And the reason behind this is the messages I get from different farmers across Africa. And then something interesting came to my mind, and I thought about using the camera. Every time I visited farmers, I would be able to post in the community, in the group, in my own profile, and just share the story of the farmer that I visited. And then I asked myself, why wouldn't I get this information, develop it in a way that other people can be able to benefit? If we go for a training, how do we capture that so that those who are not, the farmers who are not able to come for that training can still benefit? And hence the birth of Farmers Media. Our mission as an organization is to help farmers, African farmers, to attain knowledge and grow profits.